time to rate the ride. So we're going to be rating the rides from like 1 to 5, like give 1 star or 5 star, and then we're going to be telling you the ones we did that were kid friendly, fun, or magical, or adrenaline rush. And we are doing the rides in like the way we went to them, like how do I put that in English now? Sure, the way we
in chronological order.
Yeah, for us, how we did each. Yeah, so basically we are telling you our day at Disneyland. Yeah. So when we got to Hollywood Tours, first of all, it was beautiful,
funky,
by the way.
Pictures.
It was magical. You know, we're feeling funky, taking pictures. And the first ride we went to was the Star Tours, The Adventures Continues.
Yeah.
So just to give you a bit of an idea of what this ride looks like, it's like a 3D space flight. You are put in a flight simulator, and it's like a digital 3D video. So a lot of people enter the flight simulator, they tell you to buckle your belt, and then they start the flight, and you go and then they add special effects and special music to help you feel like you are really in a space capsule or something like that. This ride was actually very good. This was the first ride we did when we got to Disney Hollywood Studios, and we're feeling fine with ourselves. I mean, the simulation was so real that we felt like we were diving into maybe the Earth, or we're diving into like Mars or something like that. But it felt very nice. It was very cool, very demure ride.
Is it time to rate it, or we should just talk about it first?
So if you were to rate this ride, what would you give it?
A 4/5, because as a first experience, it was exciting to start. Like, we're so excited. We're like, oh my goodness, so is this much fun? Like, everything felt real, but it also felt like the rush was there, the adrenaline, the dopamine was eating. So we're like, oh yeah, okay, all right. So I rate it 4 because as a first time, maybe if I had done everything before it, we just feel like, okay, one of those rides. But as a first, I'll just give it 4. 4/5.
So I would also say 4/5 because the ride really set us in the mood. We did the ride and we're feeling like, okay,
yes, Disney, come
through. Show us what you got.
If
only we knew.
Really nice.
So it was a nice ride. I would definitely recommend.
I think it's
also kid friendly. Yeah, because we saw kids in there, so it's also kid friendly, and it's also a good ride because for everyone. I feel like this was a good ride for everyone. So to pre-warn you guys, if you are at Disney, there are some rides you see, like if you have high blood pressure, if you have motion sickness,
fear of
heights, don't take them because
fear of dark spaces. Almost every ride was dark.
Almost every ride was dark too. But this ride was okay. It was cool. There was still like a little bit of light in this ride. And if you have motion sickness, guys, make sure you take your anti-motion sickness medicine before you go. Like, I have motion sickness, and I took it before we left the house.
Before you leave the house, take it because you will need it. There were times which I felt nauseous, and I have motion sickness very rarely, but I had it a lot, like at Disney. So make do with that what you will.
So the second ride that we went on, we're already feeling good from our first ride.
Feeling nice.
We now went to the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror at the Hollywood Tower Hotel. This ride is a horror flight. It has big drops, it's dark, and it's scary, or it's supposed to be scary.
Continue.
So you are placed in a haunted elevator style kind of lift. It's like the ride is made after a movie. It was like a horror movie. So they start like the prelude and everything to put you in the mood before the ride itself kicks in. And then and then I wanted to say the wait line for this ride is long. Yeah. The wait line for this ride is long. In fact, I would advise you that this is the kind of ride you do the first thing. Like, don't eat before you go on this ride. Don't eat before you go on this ride. So, Ofe, what was your thought about this ride?
All I can say is, I've not experienced anything that's scary for my entire life. In my entire life, I was literally screaming and filming that what brought us to this place, to this junction that we're at. Because the kind of drops, imagine a 20-story building and you are being dropped down at like a very, very, very high speed in such a way that as you're dropping, even though the lift is going down, your body is elevating and pushing against the buckle because of how fast the drop is. And it felt, not that I felt so real, because it was real. Like we were really in a lift that was dropping at a very high speed, and it had like this, sometimes it will come up and it will kind of like open into the air, like we could see the sunlight outside. It will open up again, and the next thing we knew, we'll be down and dropped into darkness again. Like it was the most scary thing I've ever experienced in my life. And I felt like, what would my father say if I don't survive this? What if this is how I pass on to, these are my enemy passes on to the yonder. I kept on shout, screaming for Miss Linda, for me. What led us? I thought, at some point, that would I cry? Because I felt so much fear that I didn't know whether to cry, whether to shout, whether to scream. But I couldn't laugh. Nothing about it was funny. Nothing. The minute there was a woman there with her kids, and she's like, oh, it's over now, it's over now, it's over now. Hey God, I've never been so grateful to God in my entire life. I was like, you mean it's over? Thank you, Jesus. Oh my goodness. I just kept on saying, Oyiboma and Shenko. Like, if you know what that means, it means that white men, like white people, they've really explored a lot, because what led them to that ride.
Oh, by the way, we should mention, when we were on the queue, we were
no
the only black people on the queue.
Yeah, that's how you know that.
This queue was very long. And we were the only black people on this queue. I'm pretty sure other black people came later. But maybe at the time when we were taking this ride, we were the only black people.
That's how you should
on
know.
The queue.
Just know, any place you don't see black people, just know that that's not where you should be as a black person.
I think like God put certain abilities and certain affinities for things in different races. Mm-hmm. Because
why would I leave my house? My house that is comfortable, all the rides that is comfortable, and choose to do House of Terror? Is it? That's what we call it.
Yeah, Tower of Terror.
Tower of Terror. Then when we're outside, like doing other things, we had people screaming, and we're seeing them scream from outside. I was like, why would they scream?
There's no how you be in this ride. You are going to scream.
Yeah.
Like, funny enough, the belt in this ride is just a belt that goes from like, was it left to right or right to left?
Yeah.
So right to left. And a big shout out to Disney. Their workers though, they are like very good. And they always make sure that, especially for the very intense rides, they always make sure that everybody
all
is
rides
buckled.
Actually.
Yeah.
Any ride that
requires
they
buckle,
would require you to pull
on it to make sure that it's buckled well. Mm-hmm. Because this ride,
if
this Tower of Terror ride,
like if you
didn't buckle, you would be flung out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you get like the thing was just going ha. So the two of us, we sat down here. There was a lady, like Mofe said, there was a lady with her kids beside us. The lady was busy apologizing on behalf of the kid to us that he's little,
he's going to
scream, he's still scared of heights. As friends to me are the ones that should have been apologizing.
I didn't hear the boy scream. I didn't hear the boy scream over my own scream. I think at some point I looked left, I was like, Phoebe. I didn't whisper that, by the way. I shouted it because I was like, Kilosu Adebi for English it means what led me here, what pushed me to this place. So to be fair, I'll still rate it a 5 out of 5.
This ride is a
easily 5 out of 5.
If you are Disney Hollywood Studios, this ride is a must. Except
your
of
life
course,
will not remain the same.
Except of course you have if you have an health condition,
if you have high blood pressure, I absolutely do not recommend, because your blood pressure will spike. It will definitely spike. If you have any fear,
pregnant women on this ride,
dark, like you can't see your hands in front of your face. That's how dark it was. It was pitch dark. No pregnant women. I would obviously, for children, you have to be a certain height before you can go on the ride. So yeah, but 5 out of 5 because the mental shift, the adrenaline from me.
This was adrenaline rush. This
I
ride
recommend.
was, and yeah, we totally recommend this ride. That was like awesome. Then after we finished this Tower
I
of
think that was
Terror,
not enough.
we're now feeling like, you know what, we've done this ride, you know, there's nothing that Disney can throw at us
That we cannot.
that we cannot do you understand? The next ride we now went on was the rock and roller coaster steering the Aerosmith.
She didn't want to go on it, by the way. But like I was like, if it's a roller coaster, I've never been on a roller coaster before, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, so we went on it. We started queue. Also, the wait line for this ride
Was long.
crazy.
Was super. See, all the wait lines that we have been experiencing, they will say, oh, 40 minutes, we'll probably spend 15 minutes. 30 minutes, we'll probably spend 10 minutes. So we're like, okay, it showed us 17 minutes. We're like, bad as in bad, we'll spend 20 minutes.
We almost spent more than 70
not
minutes
spend
even.
on-
Was it like-
No, it was like 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Was
It just felt long because the sun was.
It was hot.
sun
The sun
was-
was also.
So there was
the
a couple in
sun was
front of us
sunny.
that brought umbrella. I was like, I was so smart. We should have done that.
So this ride is a roller coaster ride. So why I was having doubts was because it just didn't have like stops and stuff. They said there at the point there will be upside downs.
Yeah.
I saw upside down.
Loud music,
loud music.
like
and stuff.
very loud music, upside down maneuvers,
Yeah.
twist turns.
Yeah.
Like we're going to be upside down. So she didn't. Immediately she said that, she was like, yeah.
I was like, well, Mufe, you know, she kept me going. She kept me
It's
going.
like
Like I told you guys, I already took my anti-sickness medication before I left home because I didn't want to hear story. I didn't want to vomit. I didn't want to feel nauseous. I didn't want anything. In fact, the second day, I brought it along with me. So that in case maybe it start again, I will take and do. So, this ride.
This ride, the first, before I even rate it, the first they used to pull us into the tunnel because it was a very dark tunnel.
It was a dark
That,
tunnel.
now from there, I don't know, say, wahala. Well, and true, we're turned upside down a couple of times. We're twisting, turning, but still nothing beats House of Terror. But yeah, these are the rides you should not do after you've eaten. Make sure your belly is empty. Make sure, because I promise you, you can very well throw up. It was fast. Think roller coaster, but in the darkest of darkest tunnels. It was fast. The music was loud. It was rock music.
Yeah, it
So
was after it burned,
very,
I think
very
the
loud.
Aerosmith- Yeah,
Yeah,
very
it was
loud.
very loud. We're twisting, we're turning. Our faces were moving.
And
Then
the
there's
breeze
a
that
clip
was-
of me, like my mouth was open. I was even screaming more than the person that said that she didn't want to do it. I was like, so much for saying let's do this. It was very scary. But the good thing about it is it had like an harness that was
Yeah,
from
so
up,
the
down.
harness was up down. So there is no how you, except
You
maybe
couldn't move.
God forbid something goes faulty with the ride.
Yeah.
But the way
And
the
if
harness
something
was,
went faulty with ride, the person would die. if the person doesn't die, it will be super critical just by how fast
that ride
the
was
roller
going.
coaster was moving, how it was turning, how it was doing upside down, twisting. Yeah, if anybody wasn't fully, and they make you push up on it.
Yeah,
to be
they
sure
make you
that-
push up on it to be sure. So again, like I said, big shout out to Disney and their workers because they were really working. Yeah. And probably also people that are in charge of maintenance of those rides and making sure that nothing goes faulty. Because yeah, that ride 5/5 also.
Five,
And
a good
adrenaline
5 star.
rush. Yeah.
5. I would say if you are too scared to do Tower of Terror,
This
can
is
give-
you can give rock and
you'll
roller
be
coaster.
scared too. Don't let me make it seem like it's easy. You will be scared because it is dark. Because there is drop, there is rise,
Yeah.
there is upside down, there is
up and there is
everything.
like
You'll be scared, but at least it is not as devilish and as wicked as that Tower of Terror. So yeah, 5/5 too.
yeah, 5/5. So and then after this, you know, because we didn't eat before we left home. So after, you know, now we have done 2 scary rides. When we came out, we were like,
Okay,
let's go and eat.
that's kind of it.
So we went to the Backlot Express restaurant
The
and
burger
we just
wasn't
had
so
like
bad. It was-
burgers and fries.
I think I liked the burger because did I? After the burger I had at the other time, like this burger was definitely better. I had sauce. It was juicy. It was juicy. The one I had the other time was not.
So the food was
And
okay.
it was cheap. It was like
It was cheap,
$15
yeah.
per person.
Compared to what we're hearing in the restaurants we're trying to get in.
Yeah. So.
So after
And it was even recommended by the app. So shout out to the app for that. So it was recommended by the app, but I mistakenly ended up there. So it still made sense that I should have just followed the app.
Yeah. So after we ate, the next place we went to was Star Wars: Rise of the Resistance. By the way, if you are a fan of Star Wars, you have to visit Disneyland because it will just be heaven to you. Like, and you even like want to buy like the merchandise and stuff. So
they have all those lightsabers
yeah,
and everything.
We don't know their names, but they shall have everything that a Star Wars fan can dream of. So Star Wars of the Rise of the Resistance, you'll be put in like a spaceship.
Yeah.
And then you'll be moving like up and down.
I think we had to choose pilots, right? Was that the one we had to choose?
So this one was the one that it was also a long queue, by the way.
Yeah.
But it was like a cart. There were 4 of us inside.
Okay. That they had that crazy drop.
Yeah, and
that
it was the one with the dark man pointing at us and shooting at us. And this ride also had like drop downs. We are also moving up and down. They had drops, but the drops was like not too much.
It was just one.
I think drops just like twice or so. I can't remember.
I feel like I was expecting to drop, but the one that really threw me off was that one that we entered like a place.
Oh,
dropped.
The
guy beside us was like, "Oh, you've never done this ride before." I was like, "Okay." So when it was time for that drop, it was like, "Buckle up." And then it was not buckle up because we were buckled, but like be prepared for it. Then it was like, "It's not that bad."
By the way, we just want to say to you guys that every ride that had a drop
was that bad.
So it was because this was our first time at Disneyland. In fact, most of the questions, I think we got to like 2 times or 3 times where people were like, "Oh, is this your first time?"
Like, it was so surprising. More than 3 times.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, like, "Oh, it's your first time."
Apparently, people come here like it's just like what?
Why are you coming here back to back?
So a lot of people were already like familiar with the rides. They know the turns, they know the twist and everything.
Yeah.
So this cart that they put us in, this spaceship or whatever. We sat down with a man and his daughter.
Oh, daughter.
I think so. A man and his child. I don't know if there were 2 of them. They are white. They were so calm.
They were really
you see
calm.
The 2 of us.
There was nothing calm or demure about our countenance because it was.
There was nothing demure about our
reaction
to almost every ride.
Always screaming.
No steeze could be maintained. No composure. Just screams.
I think for me this was like the first time I was doing rides to even start with. So I had no experience.
But for Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, I'll give it a 4/5. I'll say a bit of adrenaline rush too, but it's also kid friendly because
very kid friendly.
There are kids like them. But because it is not as much as the Tower of Terror or Rock and Roller.
It will make you feel like
yeah, it will make you feel but very nice ride. Totally recommend.
Me too.
Yeah. And then after this, we went to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. For this ride, we were put in like a train, and then they had, for most of the rides, they always have like this prelude before them where they talk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So same with this ride, Mickey and Minnie, right? Mickey and Minnie were going for a picnic, and then the train is supposed to, and the train is being driven by Goofy, and then we would ride with the picnic to them. But they will do like turbulence and stuff like that. So you want to talk about it, right? Remember this? So it was the one with the water, like with the simulations that felt like 5D. So when the train, and then there was this part where there was turbulence and we were going round and circling. When we entered the sea, they didn't splash water on us this time, but the water would come on the ground, and everything.
Oh yeah, this ride was really fun. It was really fun because this was like our first
This was the first very calm,
magical,
right.
And they had a lot of props, like real life props.
Yeah,
the screens were opening up into like, it was really nice.
I want to call it 3D. I don't know, maybe it's 4D or
even 5D.
Saying
it's 5D.
5D
Because
honestly,
it felt
the simulations felt very real.
Like it was like we're entering into the world of the
Mickey and Minnie. Yeah. Like. It felt very real, and it's very kid friendly. Like,
but for me, I rated like a 3.
Okay.
Me, I rate it a 3 out of 5 because, like, I'm not the biggest Minnie fan, and like it felt kind of calm after the loading, after all what I had been through earlier. So I rate it a 3.
Okay, so I would rate it a 4/5 just because of the simulations we went through in this ride. It felt very magical to me. Like, if you have a kid,
Oh my goodness, they would love.
if you have a kid, they would love this ride. It was awesome. Like the simulations, like you could feel so, like we were following Mickey and Minnie to picnic, but of course the way to go is that the journey to the picnic will not go well, so you have to go through stuff. Everything felt real. The water, we entered into like the water. It wasn't real water. It was just like 5D water, but it felt real.
Very real. Like everything around us became water.
Water, exactly. They did like a hurricane stuff. We could feel the turbulence. The train was going. Like,
what?
The entertainment was.
They've acted. They've destroyed it.
So like you could see it and you could feel it, but you couldn't touch it. If that makes sense. So yeah.
But we'll get to some rides that we could actually negotiate.
So yeah, definitely recommend this ride.
Oh, that's done.
Welcome, dancers, welcome! Come. Oh, look at those bright, smiling faces. It's so nice to see you. Come on in. Don't be shy. That's right. Everyone to your positions. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Excellent. You're all waltzing so beautifully together. Now, let's